Hello everybody, welcome to this week's live video training. My name is Sian Burton. I am a marketing and business coaching expert in the allied health space. I work specifically with female owners who want to build practices that align with their values and honour their family commitments. So today we are talking about the CEO role because I very commonly get asked, well, everybody tells me I should be the CEO, but what does the CEO actually do? And how do I know when I'm there? And am I doing it right? And what am I supposed to be doing? So if that's you, make sure you stay and watch along to this video. We're going to be talking about what that role actually entails as a CEO, whether that's the right thing for you in your practice, and if it's not, what the other option is that you can adopt instead. So let's start with what a CEO actually does, because here's the thing, right? If you are a private practice owner, that very likely means that you finished school, went to uni or college, depending what country you're in and what you call it. You studied a health sciences degree of some kind, speech, psychology, physio, exercise physiology, whatever it might be. You left, worked in that field, and then at some point opened your own private practice, took on a team, and find yourself here now. That means that more than likely you have never come into contact with what would be termed a corporate CEO, where the role actually originated from, and so have no idea what they do, right? That's that lack of commercial experience of being in that corporate environment that you lack in the allied health space for very obvious reasons, like you've never worked in a corporate environment because you've been in healthcare. So if we talk about what a CEO does in the type of business where that role was created, a CEO's role, Chief Executive Officer, is to oversee all facets of the business and to ensure that the business and its operations run effectively and profitably. Their responsibility is to ensure that profit margins are where they are supposed to be, that the business is running effectively and efficiently. That involves operations running really well, making sure that staff issues are handled. They're not really usually involved in too much of the actual team culture piece, more about are the team being handled well from a HR point of view, and are we bringing enough new clients in and selling enough product from a marketing point of view. They will have underneath them chief operating officers, chief finance officers, chief marketing officers, chief technology officers who handle technology, and they will oversee those people and make sure that the business runs really well. Now, when you start a business, more than likely you are a visionary by nature. If you've never heard of the rocket fuel test, I would highly recommend going and finding it online and doing it. 90% of the people watching this are going to find that naturally they're a visionary as opposed to an integrator. A visionary is someone who sees into the future, plans out where the business is going, and has the big ideas. We're going to open here, we're going to open here, we're going to do these kind of services, we're going to build relationships with these kind of people and do this sort of stuff. It's going to be really, but that's the extent of it, right? The integrator is the yin to the yang. It's the masculine energy to the feminine energy. And the integrator is the person who comes along and says, great, you want to open 3 new locations in the next 5 years. Here's the step-by-step guide as to how we're going to do that. So they are the ones who manage the operations, who manage the day-to-day functions, who manage the cash flow, who make sure that everything is running seamlessly in the background. Here's where the problem comes. The CEO is an integrator role. So they are the person who deals with all the operations, make sure everything is functioning. They can also be visionary, but generally that happens if it's their business. So it happens if the CEO owned the business and it expanded like Apple, and they've ended up running the business and being the visionary. In those situations, they're not actually running any of the operations. They are running the vision. They have a whole team of people who do the rest. So this is why it's a problem when you start trying to become a CEO or an integrator, when actually at your core, you're a visionary. Because if I say to you, right, if you're going to be the CEO of your practice, you're going to be doing all the profit and loss and financial analysis. You're going to be creating all the systems and operations for the business. You're going to be focusing on all the HR issues and making sure that all of that is functioning really well. And you're going to be making sure that the marketing systems are being followed and adhered to and all of that's happening. Most of you are like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound like my idea of fun at all. Please shoot me now, right? And so what I see happen is that people sort of have a bit of an idea of what the role entails. They don't really want to do it. So then they pretend they don't know what the role entails so they don't have to do it. And then they just end up treading water, not really getting anywhere fast. So what I want to suggest to you instead is something that we talk about within Success Without Sacrifice and what all of my clients are working towards and building out. And that is their Chief Visionary Officer role, their CVO role. This role is about being in charge of the vision, being in charge of thinking about where the business should be going, where should the practice should be going, what locations will you have, what kind of services will you offer, what kind of team will you have, what kind of culture will you build, being in charge of that piece, and then having we call them like a chief operating officer or an operations manager, not a practice manager. That video is coming about why I hate that name, who is in charge of the day-to-day running of the practice. This lets you scale and grow the practice and feel excited about how you do that, about your part to be played in it, as opposed to having this sense that there's stuff you're supposed to be doing to be a CEO and that probably needs to be done to grow the business, but also having a sense that you really don't want to be doing what you think that role is, and therefore staying really busy in the business so that you don't have to work on the business in a role that you don't want. If this is resonating, comment like, yeah, this sounds like where I've been stuck. Know that it's because you're trying to be something that you are not wired to be. So instead, focus on how you become the Chief Visionary Officer. What would your role need to look like? What would you want to do in that role? What would you be excited about doing in your dream practice? And then figure out how you pass off the rest of your stuff on your plate to other people in your existing team and who you need to hire to fill that integrator role if you don't have it. So know that you don't have to be the CEO of your business, and you can be the CVO and love the role. Everything else you can hire in. You don't have to be something you don't want to be in your practice. You don't have to build a practice you don't love being a part of just because you're told that's how it should be. Build your dream practice, build your dream role, do work you love, and have everybody else in your business support the areas that are not your zone of genius or the stuff that you love. Your business will be so much more successful as a result. So I hope that's helpful. I hope it gives you something to think about. If you want to understand a bit more about this concept, Simon Sinek did a really great video that is, I think it's called Why I Hate the CEO title. Towards the end, he gets really into talking a lot about corporate stuff, but it's good to understand like a bit more around what the CEO role looks like and why it's not a good fit for practice owners, and why CVO is better. So I hope that gives you something to think about. I hope that gives you permission to stop trying to be something that you're not and feeling like you have to do things that you don't want to do or don't enjoy doing or are not good at doing, and gives you a different perspective that you can start to think about as you go through this week and next and think about growing your business towards the end of this year. So I will look forward to seeing you guys next week. We are going to be talking about why I hate the practice manager title next week, because it's been on my mind for a while, and it's gone from being a slight dislike of it to now absolutely detesting it. And I tell all of my clients to never use it in their practice. So watch out for that next week, and I will share that with you soon. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I will look forward to having you on our video next week.